If you like variety in your anime, you gotta at least try Verve for 30 days, vrv.co/geekdom. Try it out for free, and you can watch shows like Rising of the Shield Hero, Demon Slayer, Black Clover, and Attack on Titan, plus classic long-running shonen like Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Super, and so many others. There's so much anime on Verve that it's completely overrun with content. Try it out, vrv.co/geekdom. The link is in the description. Akio Iyoku, the head of the Dragon Ball Room, recently confirmed they are in very, very early stages of pre-planning the next Dragon Ball movie. And we all kind of knew there would be another movie in addition to another TV show. We all kind of knew because of how much money Broly made. So obviously when something like that gets announced, what do we do as a community? We speculate. We talk about it. And that's what we're going to do here on this video. I'm going to be discussing an idea that Real to Real came up with. It was his concept, and I kind of stepped in and added some ideas here and there to it of what the second, well, not second, it would be the 21st, a second after Broly, but it would be the second DBS movie, but the 21st Dragon Ball movie could end up being. Now, of course, we're just speculating here. We have a lot of time before that movie comes out. So there's no sense in even like taking this too seriously, but it is a fun little kind of exercise of the mind to come up with ideas for this movie. So, Real to Real, you're here. Hello.
What's up, Geekdom? Thanks for having me again. And yeah, like as you said, I came up with this idea as much as anybody in the comments.
We ran with it.
We just ran with it. As much as anybody in the comments wants to comment on whether or not it's quality or not, that's totally fine.
Well, we'll find out by the end of the video. Basically, the whole idea is I personally want Toriyama to come up with a new concept, but if Toriyama's going to be rebooting old ideas, rewriting old ideas or old stories that either weren't his or maybe some of them were his, maybe for Dragon Ball Super Movie 2, Dragon Ball Movie 21, could we see the return of the Tree of Might? And no, not the same Tree of Might from the first Tree of Might movie, Dragon Ball Z Movie 3, but the concept of a tree being rebooted by Toriyama, but with a much more better laid out story. Now, what I mean by that is this. If you watch the Japanese version of Tree of Might, you got to watch it in Japanese. The Tree of Might's called the Tree of Godly Might, Shinseiju, and the lore behind the tree is, it is said that he who eats the fruit of the tree attains the power of a god. Now, in Dragon Ball, we have way more gods, actual gods now, than we did when that movie came out. So what if the fruit of the Tree of Might this time gives you the powers of one of those gods? That's kind of the whole framework of the film. Mm-hmm. So, and you insisted that we have the tree. Well, do you want to go through the story here?
Yeah.
Of how it could work, the premise. All right, so Universe 11, God of Destruction, Vermouth Belmont is retiring, and Toppo's taking his place. That was discussed in Dragon Ball Super. And then the idea is that they're going to elaborate on your idea. They're going to do a ritual where in order for Toppo to fully become a god of destruction, he has to eat from the Tree of Godly Might. Now, again, just want to clarify, no Turles. This is a totally different idea. We're taking the Tree of Might idea, the concept of a tree that the fruit gives you power, except that this time the fruit gives you the powers of a god, like a god of destruction. And now Toppo has to eat that fruit as part of the final ritual, because he already knows how to use God Ki, but with that fruit, he will ascend to godhood, if that makes sense, right?
So the one thing I was thinking about in terms of visually, aesthetically, with the Dragon Ball universe, both in the manga and the anime from there, is that we've already seen Toppo use his godly ki, Hakai energy to transform into his god form in the Tournament of Power. But the one thing that we didn't really notice, or they kind of elaborated on a little bit in the manga series, is that Goku and Vegeta kind of can get this Hakai energy as well. There's no real indication of what brings... And Frieza, yeah. There's no real indication of like what it takes to control the Hakai energy or whatnot. And in terms of a ritual for the gods of destruction, what is going to come of that? In order for them to allow Toppo to become a god of destruction, even though we've already seen him turn into that form,
actually fully ascend.
Exactly. There needs to be some kind of a ritual. And in order to bring back an age-old concept that I feel like a lot of fans would recognize, appreciate, and adore, and explain, and also kind of fold it into lore that's already been pre-established in Dragon Ball, both in the movies and the manga and the anime, I feel like that would be a really interesting concept, is just having Topo go out of his way to eat this fruit.
Yes. Now, just to clarify, that was the plan all along. We're now finding out the actual, like, what they have to do. So, it makes sense that they gave us that cliffhanger in Super. Like, where's Topo going to go? He's supposed to be the next in line to be God Destruction. This is the actual ritual. So, and that also opens up the lore for Beerus and Champa and all those guys, how they became gods. So, as always, Goku and Vegeta train with Whis. Whis gets contacted by the Grand Priest and says, hey, we're doing this ceremony Universe 11 for a God of Destruction. Do you want to stop by? Whis and Goku, Vegeta, Beerus like, yeah, let's go see Topo. We haven't seen them in a while, because Goku remembers Jiren, and the back of Goku's head, he's like, oh, I want to get into a fight. I haven't fought Jiren in a long time. I can't wait to fight him again. Now, remember, this movie's not coming out till after Dragon Ball Super, the series comes back. So it's one of those things where... presumably. So it's one of those things where, like, we don't know what they're going to do in Super, so we're going to assume that Goku and Jiren did not rematch. We're just going to assume that for the purpose of the video, even though they very well might. So Goku wants to fight Jiren again, right? And while this is going on, they agree. Now, what we find out is that because Frieza knows Beerus from the past, he knows where Beerus' planet is, and thus, while Beerus was asleep, he planted spy robots. This is before the film actually happened. Whis is on Earth with Bulma eating. He planted spy robots all over Beerus' planet. Now, these spy robots are just like the ones that were used to give Cell all his data, but they're invented by Kikono, who's going to get a big push in this movie. He's going to be a very important deal in this movie. So, also what happens is, while that's going on, Kikono, the top scientist for Frieza, invents a prototype interdimensional portal which will allow Frieza to go to other universes. So when Frieza overhears that there's a fruit that gives you the power of a god that Topo's going to eat, and of course Goku has a line like, whoa, why would you eat a fruit? Why don't you just train and get stronger? That'd be Goku's, a very Goku thing to say, right? Mm-hmm. And Vegeta too. Frieza now wants to use that portal to go to Universe 11 and steal the Tree of Godly Might fruit and attain the power for himself. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much like the premise of the movie starting out. But Frieza's not the villain of the movie, though. We haven't introduced the villain yet. So the new villain is a space pirate from Universe 11. We're going to talk more about him in a minute. But he's not Turles or Bojack, but he'll have he's similar to Turles and Bojack, right? Can you elaborate? No, go ahead.
I just want to jump in on here.
This is your idea.
Of course, I just want to jump in on here about Turles and Bojack. I've seen a lot of people in coming up with this concept and understanding what the Dragon Ball fans want in terms of the sequel to Dragon Ball Super Broly, or just another Dragon Ball Super movie in general. It's a lot of people want Jiren, Cooler, or maybe even Bojack. And I've always wondered what Bojack's main appeal was. In fact, at least for me, I'm not talking for you, but at least for me, he's kind of an underwhelming villain, but with an interesting concept. This intergalactic pirate with his own little gang of people, his understanding of everything that happens in one universe or another, and just everything remotely related to that. And then you also have Turles, who understands about the Tree of Might, but it's kind of the exact same character. So why not just fold them into the same character, where you have this intergalactic being, whether he's from Universe 11?
Yeah, but this guy that we're coming up with now is not a Saiyan. He's not a Bo. He's a totally new character from Universe 11. Just clarify.
Of course.
He's an enemy of the Pride Troopers. He's like let's say he's like the Lex Luthor of Universe 11 with the Pride Troopers. How about that? Or like the Venom to Spider-Man. He's basically a guy who's been feuding with the Pride Troopers for years. We could say something like that. And just when Jiren's about to beat him, he escapes. One of those Scooby-Doo type things.
You're gonna draw so many people in the comment section are gonna be talking about the guy who destroyed or beat all of Jiren's family to death or whatever. Like, a lot of people.
It could be that guy, but we should save that guy for a different
maybe. But I agree with you. It's like, this person has an understanding. He has a history with the Pride Troopers, Universe 11, or maybe even just the whole ritual in general. Like, he understands everything that's going on, and he wants the power for himself.
And he's basically, you know what he is? He is their Frieza. He's not like a Frieza race like Frieza and Frost, but he's their like cunning villain.
Yeah, right? No, exactly. That's the perfect way to kind of express him, and at the same time, it would be a great way to introduce Frieza into Universe 11 as well, because if this guy is their Frieza in
let's call him Jizz. No, toss salad, the salad tosser, bro.
Oh my god.
No. I don't know.
So
Jiznak the Gusher, bro. Let's call him Jiznak the Gusher. we have too much fun on these videos, bro.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so Jiznak he hates the Pride Troopers. So they have the ceremony. Frieza sneaks on with the portal, and he wants to steal the freaking fruit. And the ceremony is going to be in Universe 12, right? Or no, it's going to be Universe 11, bro. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, he goes to Universe 12. I'm sorry, Universe 11. They have it there. Frieza uses his portal to go there. What ends up happening is the pirate guy, while they find Frieza, Goku and Vegeta find Frieza trying to steal the fruit, and they're all distracted. Beerus is pissed off. Why are you ruining our ceremony? Topo's pissed off. Jiren's pissed off. While everybody's pissed off at Frieza, Jiznak, I already forgot his name. Jiznak the Gusher comes up and sneaks through and steals the fruit. Now, you're only supposed to take one bite from the fruit. One bite. This guy eats the entire thing. The entire fruit. So he gains a power beyond comprehension, right? And also we should clarify too, when the Tree of Might gets told to Goku and Vegeta, they have to wait 30 days for them to go to Universe 11 because it has to plant, and they have to plant the tree on a sacrificial planet, and we actually see the planet getting withered away by this new Tree of Might. Just wanted to clarify.
I just want to say two things about that. Yes, the one thing I think visually makes sense about this
that's earlier in the movie though, but
this tree is growing. It is the embodiment of all destructive force in the entire universe, so it withers away at this planet very slowly as it continuously seeps out energy from not only the life of the planet, but everything surrounding it, or at least in the vicinity of it. And at the same time, the thing about like taking one bite from the fruit versus eating the entire fruit is a visual reference to the Tree of Might movie in particular, because you had Turles only taking one bite of the Tree of Might fruit that we saw in the movie and gaining as much power as he did.
This is way stronger.
Yeah, this guy eats the entire thing, not just one bite, and then you get to see how much
Beerus,
stronger.
yeah, and they're all freaking out like, oh my god, like, no, don't do it. He eats it, and then what ends up happening is he leaves, because it takes a little bit for it to kick in. He leaves and goes to, because they all try to fight him and he escapes. He goes to Universe 12, because why does he go to Universe 12 again? Oh yeah, he wants to, okay, so his goal, I remember now, he wants to control all the universes, but he wants to control them one by one. And he knows that Universe 12 has this great army or something. We'll just make it up as we go along. And so he goes to Universe 12, like Toriyama did. and when what happens is actually the Grand Priest gets really pissed off. And he's like, you guys allowed this pirate to steal the fruit and ruin the ceremony. I should kill you where you stand. And Beerus is scared. He's like, no, please don't kill us. He's like, you know what? Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, help. If you don't help me stop this guy, I will kill you. And so Goku and Vegeta are like, well, you know what? We're going to help you anyways. We want to fight anyways. And then Frieza's like, fine, I'll help you, whatever. And Goku's like, well, if we're going to face off an army, let me go find recruits. And then we kind of end that act there. And while that's going on, Jiznak has already subjugated Universe 12, and he's building up his army because he wants to use that army to invade other universes. He's so strong with this Tree of Might fruit, but he's also really lazy because he wants the army to do all the work for him because he's freaking lazy as hell. And that's why he gets so pissed off at the end of the movie when he has to fight Goku and them, because he doesn't want to fight because he's lazy. He's lazy and he has others do his work for him, right? Because he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't like fighting. He hates fighting, but he's so strong that he can. So the big climax of the movie is we have this big fight in Universe 12 with Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Goten, the Pride Troopers, Frieza's army. They're all going to join in this big fight. And Oob, because the movie's going to be after the end of Z. So we have this big interstellar war. And while that's going... And you know what? Put in the Galactic Patrol as well, bro. Throw him in there too. Why not? We have this big intergalactic war. And it leads to a big climactic fight at the end. And it's going to be between Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, and Oob against Jiznak. Now, Jiznak is all cocky, and he's like, I have an army. And then Goku says, well, I have a Broly. And that's when Broly makes his surprise appearance and mops the floor with half of freaking Jiznak's army. But Jiznak is able to use like a Vulcan death grip type of move when Broly's losing his mind and knock him out. Like he basically hits him with like a nerve pinch and Broly's down for a while. So it's Goku, Vegeta, Oob, and Frieza fighting Jiznak, and they're getting their butts kicked. Even Beerus steps in there and fights Jiznak. And he loses because he's really strong. And what ends up happening is he takes the portal that Frieza used, because the portal that Frieza uses is going to be like a wrist. It's like the thing they use in Avengers Endgame, like the little wrist thing. It's not like a big-ass portal. It's like a communicator you take with you. You can go to different universes. So he takes it from Frieza. Frieza, what happens is during the fight, Frieza pickpockets him and takes it back, and he leaves. During the fight, Frieza does not want to die, so he uses the portal to get the hell out of Universe 12, back to Universe 7. He wants no part of this, abandoning Goku and Vegeta to fight him. Broly comes back. We have Goku, Vegeta, Broly, and Oob fighting Jiznak. And what ends up happening is, instead of them giving Goku energy to kill Broly like in Movie 8, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly give Oob all of their power, and Oob is the guy who finishes off Jiznak the Gusher. He stomps on Jiznak, and the whole reason why we're going to have Oob get the win here is because we're going to be slowly establishing Oob as the future generation, so he has to get a big win. And if they do this early enough in the series where Oob can tap into that Kid Buu power, plus the power of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, they can take this dude out.
See, the one thing I love about that is Oob's character in terms of expressing just the best possible version of an animated version of everybody going after one character. I mean, like multiple people fighting one person like it was in the original Broly movie, or just multiple people fighting each other at the exact same time. You could have a visual representation of Oob's character unleashing that Kid Buu power in one
fight. Except multiplied. He's even stronger. He's not Kid Buu. It's Kid Buu times 1,000 or however much it is with Goku, Vegeta, and Broly's energy.
Like, at least in terms of, think about it with Battle of Gods, Goku seeing everyone saying like Goku, and like as he's trying to save Earth from Beerus or something, how they were establishing that in that movie. But it's the same thing, but Kid Buu on top of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, and all the other power that he's getting at that moment. Like, that would be really freaking epic, in my opinion. Just like Goku, Vegeta, Broly, and then Kid Buu just going freaking crazy.
Now, not Kid Buu. It would be Oob channeling Kid Buu's power.
Of course. But like those are the visual representations of the things that you're seeing in order to understand.
No, what I would love is when Oob gets the power and he confronts Jiznak. He starts to pound on his chest like the King Kong thing that Oob used to, that Kid Buu used to do. Boop, 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 and he does that, bro. That would pop me to no end. And then Goku and Vegeta are like, yeah, get him. And then he's the one who gets the kill. Because they basically realize that now, here's the question. Why would they give him the power and not Goku? Well, I think the idea is what Goku ends up revealing is he thinks that Oob has more potential than even they do. That's the whole thing. He reveals that at the end of the film, that he thinks that Oob, the reason why they chose to give him power is because they think that he may have the most potential. Him or Broly, we'll see. And Broly goes back to his planet to go, make babies with Shilai. And then the ending is that they're going to postpone Toppo's ascension, I guess, for the future?
Yeah, I feel like in terms of Toppo's ascension, the one thing about this movie, even though you want to make it as epic as possible and have as many people fighting each other as possible, I feel like the main thing that you have with most Dragon Ball Z movies nowadays, Battle of Gods, Fakatsu no F, Dragon Ball Super Broly, and whatever this next movie is going to be, if it's something like this or anything else.
The Rise of Jiznak. Maybe just call it. How about this? Call it Jiznak Comes, and that's it.
Jiznak's coming.
Man, demonetized.
Coming. Oh my god. Okay, so
Jiznak's Second Coming, bro. That's the sequel. That's the sequel, bro. Starring Ron Jeremy as Jiznak.
I'm sorry. No. So
Lex Steele plays Jiznak.
Okay, so no. In all seriousness, the thing about making this movie the way that you've described it, the way that we discussed it before you started talking or we started recording, is the idea is to make a movie, tell a story that can take place in a weekend. And I think
like Broly, it's not like a long. It's just a couple days. Yeah,
it's a couple days, because I think the reason for that, though, more than anything, is because every single Dragon Ball movie now, as opposed to in the past, is it has to connect to the story in some way.
Well, it does, because we're going to give Oob the push. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
we tie up the Topo thing from Super.
And
you
also tie up Frieza's kind of underhand comments throughout the Tournament of Power and what he was really aiming for and what he wanted. He found that and everything. You pay off that.
We did a good job then. Until the comment section skewers us, we did a good job.
Of course, but you also pay off Topo's ascension into a god of destruction. You pay off everything that you've done in Dragon Ball Super with Whis talking to Goku and Vegeta about whether or not they're going to become a god of destruction and how that ritual is actually played out and what they do, what happens there. You also play a lot of lip service to past Dragon Ball canon or mythology that's kind of been overridden from Dragon Ball Super of how gods are created and everything that's related to that with future movies, bringing in different concepts. I mean, this concept brings in a whole lot of different avenues to explore, and I feel like that's
Universe 12.
And you get to see Universe 12 and all this.
Does Jiznak have like a group of other pirates that he is the leader of? I think during the fight, there could be a fight earlier in the film during the ritual where his pirates show up and then Goku and Vegeta and Frieza have to take them out, or Goku, Vegeta, and Beerus. That could work as well, you know.
You can make it
a
like
little mini fight, yeah. Like like that the children of Jiznak.
Yeah.
No, I got it. The seed of Jiznak. The seed. Oh man, this is brilliant. The seed of Jiznak, bro. Man.
Oh my goodness.
Russo brothers, eat your heart out.
Oh my.
Let them direct this movie, bro.
Oh my gosh. Like you could just take off and rip off as much of Infinity War and Endgame as possible, and it would be totally fine. But yeah,
why not?
I agree.
They're good movies.
They are good movies, and I feel like that's totally fine. I feel like the thing about this story, though, is it really ties up a lot that Dragon Ball Super left hanging, and we haven't really seen any.
I heard Jiznak left a few things hanging too, so that's good. That's good to know. Don't edit any of this out either, by the way. We should entertain the people for sometimes I feel like I'm too serious on this channel, bro, when I do my breakdowns and explains and stuff like that. So why not get wacky once in a while? Whenever you're on, it's always a good reason to get wacky.
That's totally fine. But no, I agree. All the jokes aside, though, like, I feel like if this... I mean, seriously, as I've said in almost every single other pitch video that we've done about, like, what the future of Dragon Ball Super is going to be, I really think that this is just like you and me. We are not paid for this. We're
just goofing around as fans.
Yeah, we're just goofing around, but we're taking, like...
I am going to monetize the video, probably.
Okay, but whatever. But, like... Okay, but in general, like,
Yeah, Toei's not paying us to write this stuff, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like, we're not paid to write this stuff. We literally spent 15, 20 minutes before we started recording this video talking about this idea. And it was just like a germ of an idea that really developed into like a 20-minute video discussing, having fun, laughing about this stuff. Hopefully, as many people who are listening to this right now are interacting and having fun listening to these ideas and having their own ideas from it. That's really what we're getting to.
And by the way, the battle with Jiznak is long and hard. We wanted to clarify that.
It would. That's the entire aim of it. It's a slow build up, but it's gonna be a great climax.
That's right. Slow build up movie with a great climax at the end. All right, we gotta stop. How long can we go with this, bro?
I think we're done. We're done.
Can we go with Jesus, bro? Anyways, I hope that the film will fill the void. I hope Jiznak can fill the void of this is the most punny video we've ever done of Dragon Ball Super Movie 2. And thanks for being here, bro. Do you have any final thoughts here about Dragon Ball Super, the Tree of Godly Might or whatever?
No, I feel like we've gotten it all out in this video. It's been crazy, but it's been a lot of fun. As wacky as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. All right, well, thanks for being here, and check out Reel to Reel Productions, R2R, because if you type in Reel to Reel, you forget which one goes first, the A, L, or the EL, so just look for R2R. I'll leave